Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Down Mountain. As many of y'all probably know, this is the end of the Tibetan LoSar period, which is the new year. That started on March 1st this year. And so this sort of 2-week period at the beginning of the new year is supposed to be kind of a special time for doing practice, a special time for, just like beginning the new things in this part of your life. So that's why we're having a special white foods event after this. White and sweet foods.
I heard about it, but I'm not sure.
Okay, there's something special after this. So you just stick around. We're not 100% sure the details. But it'll be kind of celebratory, and food will be involved and will not be healthy food, so you should stick around. So we'll do our regular Sunday morning meditation, which starts with sort of centering practice, focusing the mind at the center of the abdomen, and then we sound the sound Hung, which is connected in Tibetan Buddhism with awakened mind. So it's the potential that we all have to kind of wake up to reality. So feel free to sound Hung when we do that, or if it doesn't feel comfortable to you, you can just, rest in the space of everyone else sounding it. So that'll be the first part of the meditation that we do. I see some new faces. Is anybody here for the first time? Right on. Welcome, y'all. I'm glad y'all found us. So our meditation on Sunday mornings kind of has two parts. It has that first meditation that alternates between settling and resting on the breath, and then sounding the sound Hung. And then we take a little break. We have snacks in the back. The restroom is around the corner there. There's also water and tea, so you can make some tea during the break if you would like to. And then we come back and we'll do a second short practice that's kind of more about, you could say, heart opening or sharing whatever positivity we've generated. And I'll explain that a little bit more after we come back from the break. So let's get started. And with meditation, for those who might be unfamiliar with it, even though you're primarily working with your mind and your own experience, it's important to get the physical part of it, I'm not going to say right, but like it right for you. So if you're sitting on the floor, obviously you want to be in a position that's comfortable right now. If something's already hurting, you might want to try and, put a cushion under your knee, or even just move up to a chair. And if you start hurting during the middle of the session, feel free to just move up to a chair. So it's good to be, in a comfortable position, with your body relatively relaxed. So I like to kind of start by just feeling as though all the weight in my body were settling down to the base. You really just allow the base of your body to support your weight. And you feel the weight of your body resting on your cushion or your chair. So you feel like that heavy, solid base kind of supporting you. And Anne likes to mention that each of us actually is sitting directly above the center of the earth. So it can be kind of nice to feel your weight resting, but then you actually kind of imagine like a beam of light or some, roots or something kind of dropping down from the base of your spine and connecting you to the center of the earth. So you're very deeply grounded. And you just allow the cushion or the chair to support you. You allow the base of the body to start to relax. So the lower back, the lower abdomen. If they have any excess tension that's not necessary for just keeping you upright, just allow that to relax. And then from that resting base, your spine rises up straight and tall. And I like to imagine like a string at the crown of the head kind of pulling my whole spine up straight. So some people talk about tucking the chin, and what they mean is not like looking down, but that you're actually lengthening the top part of your spine just a little bit. So you're upright. So from this base, you have the spine kind of growing up like a young tree. So stable but not stiff. And then you relax. So you're upright. Your shoulders are just kind of hanging off your spine. Anne likes to say that the crown of the head is kind of, Anne Klein, one of our founding co-directors, that like the crown of your head is open to space. So you receive whatever blessings you feel might be available from space, from the heavens. So now you're kind of oriented between the sky and the earth. You have this stable spine. Your shoulders are just hanging relaxed off your spine. You can start at the top of the body and just allow the face, the muscles of the face to relax. And the eyes can be kind of gently gazing down, about a 45-degree angle over the bridge of the nose. They can be either open or closed. And if you feel that you're getting sleepy, you can open them and direct them up a little bit. But otherwise, you just kind of let them rest in a loose, relaxed way, gazing downwards. And you invite the muscles around the eyes to relax. You can invite the muscles around the jaws and the mouth to relax. You can invite the muscles of the neck and shoulders to relax. You can invite those muscles between the shoulder blades to relax. You invite the muscles of the lower back and the abdomen to relax. And if there's still any area that feels tense, if you feel like you're holding some emotion that you'd rather be rid of, you can just take a few breaths and imagine the energy of those breaths going into that place, offering it relaxation and support. And on the out breath, you breathe out that stress or whatever negative emotion might be bothering you. And now you just allow the attention to settle down into the center of the abdomen. It's a very deep and grounded place in the body. You can feel the expansion and contraction of that area. And allow your mind to rest with those bare physical sensations. When you find that your mind has been pulled away by thoughts, you can just recognize, oh, thinking. And you bring your mind back. So, no judgment, just curiosity. What's going on down there? And if you do find that your mind has been drawn away, you just recognize what's drawn it off and bring it back. Very calm. We'll sit for 8 or 10 minutes this way. As your mind gets more settled on your breath at the center of the abdomen, you might find that thoughts can arise. They kind of pass through your mind, but you don't follow them. Sounds arise outside. You hear them, but you don't follow them. So your mind is becoming more settled, but it's not tight. It's still open, allowing whatever wants to arise. And you just allow it to pass away again. Before we take our little break here, I'd just like to say a few words about rejoicing. So this is the Tibetan New Year, and the traditional understanding of this time in Tibetan culture is that right now, this time might actually already be over, but during the beginning of the new year, anything you do, whether for good or bad, the merit of it or the badness of it is multiplied 100,000 times. So I'm not really sure how you calculate that or who calculates it. But this is supposed to be a really wonderful time, for doing whatever positive actions you might want to do to start off a new year in a good way. And so I've been kind of thinking about this, and one important aspect, I think, of spiritual practice is the capacity to rejoice. And in traditional Buddhist teachings, they talk about 4 different, they call them like divine abidings, divine states of mind. So those are loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. And this joy part of that fourfold typology, I guess you could say, is rejoicing in other people's good actions or good accomplishments. It's kind of counterintuitive, but when you actually sort of bring some intention to finding things that you can rejoice in, it can be a really wonderful way of just cultivating a different filter that you're seeing the world through. I was reading The Buddha's Brain, which is a book about meditation by scientists. And in that book, it talked about how we as humans actually have like a bias toward negative news. So it makes much more of an impact on us when we see something scary, when we see something sad or depressing, because we as evolving humans have to be careful of saber-toothed tigers, for instance. So if you see a rustle in the bushes and you think, oh, it's probably nothing, or it could be a fuzzy bunny, and then you get eaten, that's not helpful genetically. So your genes for thinking it's a fuzzy bunny don't get passed on. But the person who hears the rustle and gets, a little bit freaked out, that person lives, hopefully. And then their genes for freaking out get passed on. And so now We have these structures in our brain, especially the sort of what they call the reptilian brain, the sort of like lower. It just tends to react automatically to any kind of negative news. Joe's nodding. You could probably explain this much better than I can or am doing. But what the neuroscientist who wrote this book suggested was actually focusing on the positive. And it kind of occurred to me that actually is a really great way of sort of doing a cognitive therapy on yourself, recognizing those times when we tend to get sucked into the negative aspects of life, and then intentionally redirecting our attention, what we're kind of focusing on, what we're putting our attention into. And I think this is particularly hard because the news media, the news that we get of the world is so biased toward the negative. You know, something bad happens on the other side of the world, we're going to hear about it. But when great things happen right here in our own community, we often don't even know. They don't make the news. You know, somebody making a big MD Anderson, the example that Anne likes to use. When did you see that on the front page of the paper? Never. You know, but somebody like some tragedy happens somewhere and we're constantly reminded of how, you know, how terrible things can happen with no notice. But wonderful things happen too. I used to work for a newspaper right after I got out of college. And every year, it was a small town newspaper, so we could do this. Every year they would have one episode that was just good news. And it was so refreshing. And I think that, you know, bringing rejoicing to mind and actively looking for ways to put our attention on the positive things that go on in this world can really be helpful in countering that skewed bias toward the negative that we all just have as part of our inherited biology. So I just kind of wanted to put that on everybody's radar and, you know, to suggest thinking during this, you know, really 100,000 times as potent time period here. Think about how many amazing people there have been in this world. You know, I like to think about Mother Teresa or Gandhi or His Holiness the Dalai Lama and just, you know, if you're looking for ways to cultivate rejoicing, next time you're stuck in a traffic jam, why not think about Gandhi? It sounds totally counterintuitive, but it's really wonderful and refreshing. Or if you have a daily practice, why not make some small part of it just choosing, you know, a person or an activity or something that has happened that can fill your heart with joy? Because there's nothing wrong with using someone else's wonderful accomplishments to kind of fill up your own mind, your own heart with a sense of joy and the potential for the positive in the world. So it's just, I think, helpful to know that we have this natural bias toward what's negative, but that we can train our minds. And when you train your mind, you actually shift your brain. You shift the connections that are getting made and the connections that are getting strengthened. So Happy New Year. I hope this year is full of rejoicing for y'all. We have snacks. That should cause some rejoicing. And also tea back there and a bathroom around there. So have a nice break. So the second part, instead of using the syllable hung, we'll use the syllable ah, which is just kind of like a very open syllable. And so whatever, you know, positive states of mind we feel like we've generated here, this ah practice is kind of a way of like sort of feeling into those and then sharing them. So we'll start out with a few minutes of just kind of like settling back into our calm like space. And then we'll sound ah 3 times, but this time we'll just kind of, you know, do it for one breath, just however long it lasts, and then we'll settle into it. And the first time, we feel like the ah is sort of like an orb of white light at our heart center. And so the first time, this orb is like filling up our entire body with light. So we're all like just dissolving into light. And then the second ah, we'll share that light with everyone else in the room and also receive it. So we're just like creating, you know, almost like a web of light between all of us in this room. And then the third time, we send this light out into the universe. So, throughout the city, throughout the state, the country, the hemisphere, the entire world, out into the solar system, the galaxy, the entire universe, however far out you want to, go with that mentally. So I'm explaining them now. I'll just kind of, briefly refresh y'all on those visualizations as we actually go through the meditation. So let's start with just a few minutes of kind of like settling back into a meditative state. Can refresh the posture. Invite any tension to relax. And then settle the mind back to the breath at the center of the abdomen. So with the first ah, our body fills with light. The second ah, we share the light. third ah, we send the light out. We'll close with a little prayer that's on this sheet, or it's also on the book in the booklet on page 22. And for those of y'all who might be new here, it's just like a tradition not to put these on the ground, but to try and put them on your cushion or something like that. It's kind of a hassle if you don't have a place to put it, but it's considered respectful to do that. So if you don't have these, you can get them from that little bin right there. And I'll read the names in the book before we read the closing prayer. So we send out whatever positivity we've generated to all beings, but particularly to Dan Callahan in the Bardo, Daisy in the Bardo, David and his mom, Kay, Rachel, Jamie, Carolyn, Roger, Charles, deceased, Austin and the Bardo, all ill children, Simone's aunt, passengers and crew of Malaysian Airlines flight and their families, Sonia's grandfather in the Bardo, Shane, Monica, Renee Zito, Rachel, Helen, Walter Cubberly, Hamid Reza, Mario Ovlis, Rodriguez Sr., Julia, Richard Smith, lost job. And so now let's close with the prayer that says dedication. By this good may I swiftly once become a great guru, lead all beings, everyone, to reach to that very ground. So thanks for coming out. Happy Tibetan New Year. We have a lot going on actually here at Del Mountain right now. Our regular teaching series is titled Changing for Good. So this is our spring series. It runs from now through May 6th. And this is kind of a special treat because, excuse me, Harvey, one of our founding co-directors, is teaching this series. And he's a psychotherapist. He also has his PhD in Buddhist studies. And he and Anne both have been studying Tibetan Buddhism for over 40 years now. They're translators. They're actually known internationally, so we're really lucky to have them in Houston, and really lucky to have as much access to them as we have. One of my friends from California, like every time she comes down here, she's like, if they were in California, they'd have a huge center. You guys are so lucky in Houston. And we're like, yeah, we know. But like, we don't really know. Anyway, we're really lucky to have them here. So if you can make it to the first and third Tuesdays, those are 7 to 9. It's really wonderful. And Harvey is really an entertaining presenter too. And so this series is on how to either, stop a negative habit that you have that you'd like to get rid of, or to start a positive habit. And it's kind of taking spiritual life and spiritual growth as a process of change. So I've found it really helpful so far. So those are first and third Tuesdays, 7 to 9 here. You can also register and then watch them online if you're not able to make it in person. And then we're going to have a retreat coming up April 5th and 6th, which is a Saturday and Sunday. Anne, who's away right now, is going to be back. And so she and Harvey will be teaching this retreat. It's called Deep Wisdom Ocean. This is a teaching that Anne received in 2002 from one of our teachers in Tibet. So it's a really special practice. And everybody from beginners to, people who've been practicing a long time are welcome. It's a 4-part teaching that includes everything. So you can't miss. The retreats are also a really wonderful way to get more traditional Buddhist teachings if that's what you're looking for, and also just to spend some time with Anne and Harvey because they're really remarkable teachers. So we have that, and there's a kids program that I'm not sure if it's going on right now, but there should be information on our website on.
Yeah, I heard it's going to start in May.
Oh, okay, great.
Simone is she's going to be receiving more training in the course that they go by, which is a very well-known course for teaching mindfulness to children. So she'll be receiving more training on that, and she'll be here in May too. So,
Yeah. That's something that's been going on for a while now. It's for kids ages 5 through 12 to learn, a little something about mindfulness, their minds, their emotions, how they work. And it's gotten a lot of really good reviews from parents. So you can check the website to see about the next course that'll be going on there. And there's also practice Tuesdays. So the teaching Tuesdays are the first and third Tuesdays of the month, and the practice Tuesdays are the second and fourth. Those are not really guided meditations. We open with some prayers and close with some prayers, but then we usually have 30 to 40 minutes of silent meditation in between. So as long as you kind of have a practice to do, you're welcome to come and join us. Those are 6:30 to about 7:45, and it's really nice to just get a little group practice during the week and kind of like refresh your own practice. Other than that,
I'd like to just mention and remind everybody that everything we offer here in Down Mountain is really possible through our own giving. So, so if you feel so inclined, we do have a basket where you can leave a donation. And also, if you'd like to buy anything in our bookstore, we have a bookstore back here. We have some books here in front. You can come to me and I'll help with the purchase.
yeah. Thanks so much. Have a great week. Have a great new year. And rejoice.
Thanks, Claire.
Sure.
Are you going to be able to make the deep ocean wisdom